To what degree should public schools limit what high school students can and cannot wear on campus?
The First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution protects a person's freedom of expression, but this freedom is limited for students attending public school. Proponents of the school dress code argue that the restrictions increase school safety by banning clothing associated with violence, which allows the student to learn in an environment without unnecessary distractions. But critics argue that an uneven enforcement of the school dress code among students of different genders and ethnicities can result in certain student populations being denied equal access to education when the punishment for violating school dress code results in the student missing class. How do you feel about the dress code?
I don't really like the dress code that much.
Why do you feel this way?
I feel like it restricts us. A lot of people don't get to wear what they want to wear, and it's just not fair.
Is there anything about the dress code you wish you could change?
I wish I could have a beard. Hats would be nice. Other than that, it's not too bad for boys.
Do leggings actually distract you?
No, leggings don't distract me.
How do you feel about the school dress code?
I like the way the dress code is.
Why do you feel this way?
Because you can't just having kids wear anything that they want, because like I said, it could be, other kids could get distracted, or, other kids could take it defensively if, they're wearing inappropriate stuff. So I think it's good to have semi of a dress code, not all the way fully dress coded, but I mean, you guys could be walking around in uniforms, which is something I know nobody wants to do, because I've done it before. But like I said, have a little freedom and wear a little things that you want to wear.
Do you feel like dress code interrupts class?
It can. Not all the time, but I mean, if somebody wears something crazy, then yeah, it can interrupt class, but otherwise, it shouldn't.
How do you feel about the school dress code?
I honestly think that it's tolerated to more opinionate with boys, because I feel like girls have so many rules when I feel like it's not equal.
So do you feel like the dress code discriminates against you?
Yes, I do.
Why do you feel this way?
I just feel it because I feel like they favor boys instead of girls, and I feel like we have a lot more rules when I feel like we should have.
Do you think it is a smart decision to take kids out of class to make them change their outfit rather than keep them in and let them learn?
No, I don't. I've actually sat in student service for over an hour waiting to get dress coded.
You know this.
How do you feel about the school dress code?
I mean, I think it's pretty fair. I just think that just little things like piercings and leggings, I think that could be changed. But in a way, I do think it's fair. I just think I wish some things would be changed and that maybe it wasn't so strict.
Has dress code ever interrupted your class?
No.
How do you feel about the school dress code?
I feel like the dress code could be annoying sometimes, but I could understand why they have it, because you need to set some restrictions to what people wear.
Do you feel like dress code interrupts class?
I do not feel like dress code interrupts class.
Do you feel like the dress code discriminates against you?
No, the dress code does not discriminate me in any way.
How do you feel about the school dress code?
I think the school dress code's really unfair, because it's kind of we have a lot of limitations on what we can and can't wear, and it's kind of ridiculous that our shorts and stuff, it has to be 5 inches from the knee. None of the clothes that we buy, or the stores that we buy clothes from, have those things, and it's kind of we get dress coded and we get a bunch of attention for it, and I don't think we should.
Do you feel like the boys and girls dress code is fair?
I don't think it's fair for the girls. I think it's kind of guys can kind of wear whatever they want, but for girls it's kind of we have a lot of restrictions on it.
How do you feel about the dress code, and does it discriminate against you?
Honestly, I hate the dress code. The whole legging rule is stupid, especially when it's cold. Girls just wear leggings, and for me, I do swim, and we have morning practice all the time, and it's just easy to put on leggings in the morning when it's cold. And yeah, it does discriminate against girls especially.
How do you feel about student dress code?
From a teacher perspective, I think it's good to have a dress code. I think there's always things that we can make more clear for teachers and for students. I think there are probably some things here that maybe are sort of confusing for students as far as what's okay and what's not okay. But overall, I think we should have a dress code, but we could always work to make it better and clearer.
Do you feel that when students get dress coded, it interrupts class?
Yes.
Why do you feel this way?
Because they're not in class.
And in what ways would you change the dress code yourself?
I would make it more clear again with the things that, whether there's a big question with maybe types of shoes and what's a legging and what's not, and those types of things. Try to clear that up, and then I'd have a different process so they weren't missing class time because they've been dress coded.
How do you feel about the school dress code?
The school dress code is something that I signed a contract to support, so having a feeling about it doesn't necessarily weigh in. It's what I have to do.
Do you feel like the dress code discriminates against any students?
Oh, sure, of course. It does. It by nature does. If somebody wants to dress a certain way and it says you can't, then you can't. We had a student about 3 years ago that wanted to wear his Native American feather on his graduation cap, and they would not let him. So that's a little bit of discrimination, I think. But a rule's a rule, I think.
Has the dress code ever interrupted your class?
Daily, daily, and I choose to try to ward it off as you're walking in the door and say, hey, you're out of code, and off you go, so that it doesn't interrupt me, but sometimes it just does.
And would you change the dress code if you had the opportunity?
I think I would, because I raised children, and I had, girls that, couldn't find shorts in any store that were within the parameters of 4 inches above the knee. So they had to, in 105-degree weather, wear long pants, because that's all we had if we were going to stay in code. And then, of course, the second child, if there was a rule, she was going to break it. There was all that. So they'd follow her to the bathroom sometimes, and she'd call me from there. So yeah, I probably would change it just to make it a little easier for kids. But I don't think I would change it dramatically. I don't think I would want it to be what Santa Cruz is. We went there one day on a Friday for a dog show, and there were these kids in a Taco Bell with, purple spiked hair and stuff pierced in places that no one should pierce. And it was distracting. It was odd. And, they're going, look at me, and I think that's, I think we don't necessarily need that in an educational setting.